What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm coming at you again from the TA in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've been loving this lane I've been running in, kind of bouncing along the 94 corridor, going up into like Chicago, Wisconsin, all that, and then bouncing down the 75 corridor to Louisville, Kentucky. And I just got done unloading this morning, and I got a load picking up tomorrow, going from Livonia, Michigan, produce load, going down to two drops, one in Louisville, Kentucky, and then the second one in, let me lower this down a little bit, and then another one in Salem, Virginia. As you guys can see, my afro is popping like the Dr. J afro, like right before he retired. Not the big one, the miniature one. That's kind of what I'm rocking with today. But just had a couple things to talk about. There was a non-truck driver that had asked some questions about what is the big difference. Let me see how it was phrased. This is Big Dave and the Big D. Please explain to all of us non-truck drivers the big difference between a team load and a solo load, and how you decide, or how they decide and distribute them out, and what are the considerations. We'll get to that in a second, but before I get to that, I want to talk about a few things that are on my mind right now. And I may be cussing a little bit. I don't know if I am or not, but if that offends you, you might want to skip this one altogether. I may not cuss, but you may want to skip forward just a little bit, because had a few conversations and just one of those Facebook posts that kind of gets to me. We'll get to the Facebook post last, but the first, I'm in this TA earlier today. Prime driver pulls up at the Blue Beacon. He sees me over here. He's like, "What's up?" He gets his washout, comes over, and we're talking. And he said that he picked up a trailer, didn't have mud flaps on it. He was on his way to the terminal to get the mud flaps fixed. And what happened before he got to the terminal? A driver turned him in for driving the truck without having mud flaps on it. Some motherfuckers just need to fucking worry about theirself. That is such petty bullshit. And the fact that somebody would even, now what they're going to say is, his score, affects me. And shut the fuck up. Worry about yourself. That is some pussy shit to do right there. Is even entertaining the fact that you're going to do some shit like that. Seriously. That's some bullshit. So that's the first thing I wanted to express is, if you're one of these people that's out there, hopefully you aren't subscribed to my channel, first of all. Secondly, that's some bitch shit right there. I don't know how anybody feels comfortable doing some shit like that. It's the first thing I want to get on my mind. Mind your fucking business. Whether people are driving around without a lock or whatever these, some of this little dumbass shit is, mind your fucking business. Maybe that's some old school shit. I don't know. It might have been an old motherfucker that did that, as far as I know. But all right. I've spoke with a couple people and saw some messages from some people. So this is kind of not anything that I've heard directly, because I haven't asked this question directly, but I've heard this indirectly from a few different resources. If you're one of these drivers out here getting critical events and just messing up to any degree, you might want to, they're going to start cracking down on this stuff. So if you're out here delivering these little Walmart loads early, or you're like, I don't know what all the parameters are, but if you are out here and you are not performing, or you are underperforming, it's probably going to get to a point where it's going to either start costing you some loads, or it could end up costing you your job. And apparently nobody wants to work at Prime anyway, so I guess it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it did cost you your job. That's just a heads up. And I'm hearing that there's a bunch of pressure coming down on the fleet managers. Now, my issue with some of this is it's like the fleet managers, Prime gives them enough ability to bark, but not enough confidence to bite. There are certain situations that are just fireable offenses. At this point, if you're delivering a load early or you've shown up late more than, I mean, to me, like I said, I've been late maybe 5 times in my entire life, damn near. And I'm saying even like showing up at people's like birthday parties and shit. If you're showing up late, and I'll even give you a little bit of wiggle room. More than 3 times a year, you should be out of here. Period. But if these things are happening, Prime is going to start having a short leash. I'm hearing this effect coming down on fleet managers. And I would just take note of that. That it may be time to look at secondary or new employment if that's the case. All right, last thing I want to talk about is some shit I saw on Facebook today. As a matter of fact, I wish I had done this with my other phone. Somebody posted something on Facebook, and basically, I'm glad that I left Prime. You know, I'm over here making all this much money and home this often and this and that and that. First of all, this goes against everything I talk about anyway, because anybody that starts trying to fucking throw their dick around and all this kind of stuff over how much money they're making at their job, that lets me know that they really don't know where the real money comes from. The real money that you make is not from your job, it's what you do with the money, but let's not even get into that. These people that leave Prime and stay in Prime Facebook groups and do shit like that reminds me of these little females out here. Normally it's a female, but I'm sure there's a bunch of little hoe-ass men out there do the same thing. You know, they break up with somebody, meet another motherfucker, and then maintain a relationship with the old motherfucker just to tell him how good the new motherfucker is. That might be it. Listen, that might be some younger generation shit that I'm not too up on right there. I'm sure there's probably some old people that do it too, but just stop it. I mean, to me, I'd be embarrassed to do that shit. And maybe that's just me being older, but you know, I ain't hanging around a place that I fucking left. And then I've heard, well, what if you have friends there? You know what? They do have friend requests on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? You could just go ahead and be friends and not necessarily. I mean, that's just some dumb shit. I don't get it. Anyway, enough about that. All right, let's talk about this Team Freight. Now, there was once a time when you used to be able to be like one of these little weak-ass teams, and I'm just saying that out of fondness for them. But, you know, there are real teams and there are fake teams. So what is a team load? A team load is a load that a solo driver can't do. And that could be for a number of different reasons, but distance or time is usually going to be what separates a solo load from a team load. Now, there are a lot of teams out there that qualify as teams, but they're not valuable to a company. And what I mean by that is a team load is a load that a solo driver can't do. But you find a lot of teams out there that call themselves a team truck when they're really just doing a bunch of solo loads. So they really aren't bringing any benefit to the equation. Now, there was once a time when freight was like a lot more abundant, and maybe there was value in that. Maybe not any more value than 2 solo trucks, but there was enough freight to have that kind of happen to where you were just doing that. So a team is not going to be a load. A true team is not going to be a truck that runs from like North Carolina to Kentucky and, you know, down to Ohio. And even if they put in the miles, you know, put in team miles, they're really just pulling solo freight. which is one of the reasons why, I've been kind of tossing back and forth. Should I train? Should I not train? The main reason why I don't like training is it's not that I don't like team loads, because I don't mind the loads, but I don't like where they go. It's like whenever I'm training, I'm forever in California, forever in Oregon, forever in Connecticut, New Jersey, all that stuff, because I ran as a true team when I was training. So that is kind of the main difference between a team load and a solo load. Now, here's one thing that I can understand. A lot of these, let's call them faux teams, are husband and wife teams. And I do side with those drivers that they may not want to run a true team truck. I understand that. If I was a married team, the last thing I'd want to do is be driving back to back shifts nonstop, passing each other in the fuel island or wherever you choose to do your, breaks and all that, and then just not really doing anything other than driving. So I do think that Prime misses the boat on that a little bit, because if I was to be teaming and being married, I would probably just want to be doing super solo type loads, or just a bunch of solo loads, or kind of going that route. But a lot of people, and I'll see it a lot on YouTube, will mention the fact that they're a team truck, and there's value in that, and there is value in being a team truck if you are running team freight. A lot of people that want to throw out that I'm a team and we're a team truck, they're really not doing much more than what a 1.5 solo trucks can do, because they're just stringing together a bunch of solo loads. And it looks like right now Prime is not really trying to fuck with that, to be honest with you, from what I've been hearing. So anyway, that is the difference between team loads and solo loads. Another reason why a shipper may want a team load is if it is some high value freight and they want somebody that's gonna be with their merchandise 100% of the time. So you could have a solo load ran by a team truck that the shipper would prefer to have on a team truck, because the truck is going to be under watch or under supervision the entire time. But that is about it. I know I was kind of rambling on in that video, or in this video, but I think hopefully I answered the question. If there's any other things that I missed down there in terms of the differences between team and solo freight, leave it in the comments section below. But that is really kind of it. And I knew several people, a while back that were team trucks that were running basically solo, super solo type loads, that were able to get away with it and make a decent living doing that. And I just don't see that same I think that the money's still there possibly, but they're just not valuable, to be honest with you. A team truck that's not doing team loads is not valuable, bringing no value to the table. And I would prefer to bring no value to the table. Like I said, if somebody said, Lyle, you could train, but and you'll just be able to do a bunch of solo loads, and you never have to go to coast to coast, and you'll never be in like Florida, Washington, Oregon, California, Maine, Connecticut, Massachusetts, all that, I'd sign up for that right now. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Hopefully that in a roundabout way answer that question. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.